My name is Matt Cheney, and the name of my company is Cheney Co at Compass. So I have a team set up. It's called Cheney Co, and the brokerage I'm at is Compass, and we sell real estate. So we help folks. Actually, we don't sell real estate. Our clients buy and sell real estate.
There we go.
So we serve folks coming into the market in Northwest DC, Bethesda, Maryland, McLean, Virginia, who are buying and selling properties. Occasionally, we might help someone who might own an investment property, lease out a property as well. But we help folks with the real estate needs.
Beautiful. And now, what first inspired you to build a career specializing in the luxury real estate market in DC, Maryland, and Virginia?
I started in real estate in 2003, but I did not start in the side of the business we call general brokerage or the resale business. Mm-hmm. I started off working with real estate developers, selling large condo developments. So I just moved back from the New York City metro area, wanted to get into real estate. I knew I just kind of liked real estate. I've been working for companies like Xerox, and I wanted to get off corporate sales. Started doing informational interviews with real estate brokers. So I was thinking I was going to get into commercial real estate. And I had a family friend who was a real estate developer, went out to lunch with him, stayed in touch with him. And he knew a fair amount of people in the brokerage community. And in 2003, there was a reduction of interest rates. Mm-hmm. So interest rates always come up.
Yep.
But back then, interest rates were coming down to 5%. And the developers had built a lot of brand new apartment buildings. And the market was shifting to own versus rent, and they had a bunch of inventory. And they saw the opportunity to take these brand new buildings, not lease them, but just sell each individual unit and sell out the building and make a fair amount of money.
Wow.
So that's where I came into the picture. So I had followed up with my family friend saying, hey, I just got my real estate license. Do you know any builders who need someone to work on the weekends? He said, Matt, send me your resume. Actually, send your resume to these folks. Anyways, it didn't work out exactly how I like that. He said, call these folks. I called them. They said, send me your resume. Sent them my resume. They had pretty much lined up half the developers in town to get these developments. And we're talking buildings of 200 units. Mm-hmm. And I went to go work with them in 2003. And I was there for approximately 10 years, selling about 1,000 condominiums.
Wow.
So with that experience, I was not a neighborhood agent. So oftentimes when someone gets into general brokerage, they'll start off in the neighborhood. They live in a neighborhood. They put up a sign in that neighborhood, or they get their neighbor's listing. And that's kind of how they build their business. They kind of farm in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
The way I had started is I've been working with these developers going around from large development to large development. 14th Street, Logan Circle in downtown DC, Tenleytown in DC, White Flint area out of Maryland, Arlington. And I moved around the major metropolitan area. So you asked me, how did I get interested in selling luxury real estate in the DMV?
That's right.
In places like DC, Maryland, Virginia? It came from my condo background. So my condo background had me moving around, and I knew a lot of the large agents, the top producing agents throughout the metropolitan area. And I knew I was not going to be necessarily a neighborhood agent to start off with. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how this kind of evolved.
Okay.
And that's how I got there.
That's awesome. And did you have a mentor or anything? I know you said you got to be around the top real estate agents.
Right.
So were any of them possibly mentors for you?
I would say if someone is listening to this right now and they want to get into real estate, I would say you want to find a mentor. And if you can find someone that you can find a way of helping complement their business while you learn the business, that's a great way to start. I didn't do that.
Wow.
I did it the hard way. And I can tell you from experience, doing it the way I've done it is not what I would recommend to anybody else. Oh. It's a lot harder. So when I came into the resale side of the business in 2014, I was going to do it all by myself.
Wow. Oh my God. That's unheard of nowadays.
So hustle. Hustle is how I got started. Yeah. Now I've had relationships through the years where I've been friends with other agents who might have been more senior than me, but I never necessarily had a true other agent being my mentor and kind of bringing me along and helping me through the different trials and tribulations that you
trial
face.
and errors. You did it yourself there. That's pretty impressive though. So I'd say you've got a pretty unique background in that way.
I would agree. Yeah. That's not how most folks do it.
No. And that besides this, what lessons from your early career have had the biggest influence on how you lead Cheney Co today?
When I made the transition, what I just said now, that I was going to do this all by myself,
Mm-hmm.
I was leading with ego. So I wouldn't go back and change how I came into the
Okay.
business, but as I've evolved, as all humans evolve,
Yes.
and as we get better at things and we mature, we realize that we need to take ego out of things.
Yes.
And I would say one lesson I learned is leading with ego, or allowing your ego to be be the better of you, or get the better of you, and have you make decisions that are more based upon ego than what's the most strategic, the smartest decision, what's the best thing for your client. So that's one lesson I've learned is taming your ego.
Taming that ego. Yep. Sometimes it's got to just take a seat in the
Yes,
back seat sometimes.
absolutely.
Yes, I
Yes.
love that. Thank you. And then when you first started, what challenges did you face breaking into the luxury market, and how did you overcome them?
Biggest challenges coming to the luxury market would be, well, oftentimes the hardest challenge is having the clientele, proving yourself, and consistently proving yourself that way.
Yeah.
And that just takes time. That's the way you overcome it. Now, if you're mentoring with another agent who might already have clientele in that space or that sphere, that might make it easier for you. Another way you can do it is surround yourself with other agents who might be in that space. Another way you can overcome that challenge is learning that space really well. So study every major luxury product that sells, go to all the broker opens, go to the open houses, help other agents by holding open houses for luxury properties. Those are the things you can do to overcome those things, all of which I've done.
Yeah.
So those are things I've done.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, I want to talk about your branding. Your branding is so polished and professional. I took a look at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. How important do you think branding and marketing are for real estate success today?
It's important. It's something that I do. It's something that the way in which I see our business, it's very important. But I don't put so much importance of it up and above other things.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the more important things are basic blocking and tackling when it comes to taking care of your clients, serving your clients, making sure you're adding value for your clients, stay in touch with your clients, stay in touch with your sphere. Those are all great things. And then having consistent marketing. My consistent marketing, I would say, is part of the brand.
Yeah.
And just the consistency of it. The relentlessness. The relentlessness.
I can't
Thank
say
you.
it either.
Well, maybe I made up a word. Maybe it's not actually
Sweet,
a real
we'll
word.
use it.
Yes. Relentlessness of it. Yeah, that's not
I
a real
love
word.
it. That
Yes.
one.
That one. Just continuing marketing. I got to say that's part of our branding. But
Yeah.
with our branding, you'll see through the years we've evolved it. And it's gotten more and more polished as we've gone. And I'd say that definitely helps with luxury in the marketing in the luxury space.
Absolutely. And for anybody who is in real estate and maybe they're a little bit shy to get on camera, or they're like, I don't know that I can be the face or I could do this, but they kind of have to be because they are the face.
Yes.
What advice or tips would you give to them? Were you just like, yeah, just put me on camera, let's do this? Was it easy for you? Were you nervous in the beginning? Did it take time for you to get how did you?
Well, I had a business coach. My previous business coach was very much into social media and video, and he pushed me to start doing FaceTime. Was it Facebook Lives? We call it Face Lives or whatever.
Face Lives, yeah.
Well, what was it? The name of it? It's kind of phased out, but you would go live on Facebook.
Just probably Facebook
And
Live.
so I would do that during open houses, and he kept on pushing me to start doing videos, and I just kept on doing it, and I just kind of got better at it. So I was that's how I kind of got pushed into it. I don't think at the time I actually found an obstacle because I thought that was an unluxury thing to do. And I thought that was something that we don't do in the DC area, and not something we do kind of in Northwest DC, kind of the stuffy market, for lack of better terms. But the more I kept at it, the better I got, and the more feedback I got that folks liked it, and it was just appealing to folks.
Yeah.
So I kind of leaned into it, and I liked it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And just by doing it over and over again, and you had somebody who was like, also, I think you having an open mind to it, because you could have easily just have been like, no, it's not for me, but I appreciate it. But the fact that they were pushing, you're like, all right, let's do this.
Yes.
And you just got better and better.
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome that you had an open mind to doing that.
Definitely. Now, getting back to the other part of your question, you're asking is like, what would I say to someone who's reluctant to do this?
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it. Because if you don't, your competitors are doing it.
That's right.
And your competitors are going to get the business and you're not. It doesn't matter if you're not as polished as you would like to be. you just need to be doing the videos. You need to have a presence, because when folks are on social media and they look at your videos, whether or not you're a Hollywood actress or what have you, they're going to get a feel for who you are.
That's
and
right.
You're looking for people you want to have a unique connection with. So you want to get, quote unquote, your tribe, the folks that are going to be want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're leaving an untapped market out there by not doing it.
That's right.
And people aren't judging us the way we judge ourselves.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, your collars. I look at the video, I probably see my collars out of place or something along those lines.
Nobody's seeing that. We're reading those captions right there.
Right. No one else is noticing those types of things. Right.
That's right.
Exactly.
No, well said. And now you have a quote, and it goes, "Every client starts with a blank canvas." How did that philosophy shape the way you approach client relationships?
Well, everybody's unique, and everybody needs to be served kind of where they're at. So coming at folks with just kind of a boilerplate approach, the way in which you approach them as far as real estate's not going to necessarily click or work for them. The way we handle our real estate, the way in which we've built the business, is not actually saying we're going to be big in these certain markets. It's actually been more focused, as of, I'd say, the past 3-4 years, is focusing on clients and what clients need. And we found with that there's more abundance with that. It's grown the business. And that gets back to the fact that I'm not selling houses. It's not me who's out there writing the checks and purchasing this house and moving into it. It's not me having had a house for 10, 15 years, fixing the house up, getting it ready for the market, getting the landscaping done, and then putting it on the market for sale. No, I'm doing a fiduciary duty for these folks. I'm a conduit for folks to buy and sell real estate.
Yes.
So when getting back to the ego, you take your ego out of it. Put that up. It's about the clientele. So if you're focusing on the clients and what they need and what's their goal, how are they looking to succeed, then that's ultimately what we're getting at. So it's all getting back to the clientele.
Absolutely.
Right.
You couldn't have said it better. I saw on your Instagram you've got 2 daughters and you've got a chocolate lab. I'm going to assume that's a chocolate lab.
Yes.
And your wife, she was wearing a cute little white coat. Talk to me about how you make time for them and how you're balancing everything.
Well, if anybody who's had little kids and a wife and a dog, it's challenging.
Yes.
And it's nonstop. Yes, we had a sick kid last night at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, so these things just happen and you just kind of roll with it.
That's right.
How do we balance it? Well, I've got a great wife. And
Shout out to the wife.
Yes, Natalia. So Natalia has a demanding career as well. She actually has a career in consulting, and she's also does a side hustle where she teaches some classes as well, athletic classes. So she has a demanding schedule, and we just figure it out by teamwork. That, I guess we're getting at really the core of it. How do we manage having 2 kids, a dog, and both very busy?
Yes.
We're on the same page. We coordinate with each other. And that's just a muscle you have to work on, being in a relationship, and you just kind of work at it. And if you don't let it atrophy, you don't kind of just as an entrepreneur, I can't just make all these decisions and then have my wife just figure things out.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
No.
So we both have to figure things out. We have to figure out the game plan of how we manage schedules based upon certain things arising, and we already kind of figure out how we're going to handle that stuff.
No good.
So we're well coordinated. And then I guess getting back to the kids, they're great kids, and he's a great dog. Yes.
What's his name?
His name is Duke.
Duke. Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Duke, and the twins. Are they
so
twins?
They are not twins,
Okay.
but getting back to Duke first.
Yeah.
Duke, if someone wants to know me, Duke, I was a bachelor for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And my younger brother's like, you got to get a dog, get a dog, get a dog. I finally got a dog. Introducing Duke. And I was walking Duke around my neighborhood, and that's how I met my wife. And
Good job,
that's
Duke.
kind of how the whole thing kind of comes together. So if you're going to have me here talking, I have to give props to Duke for creating the family.
That is
Yes.
incredible.
Yes.
I did not see that online. So this is why these podcasts are great, because you get to find out more about the person behind the business, more than just the about me. And now we know Duke, the chocolate lab.
Duke the chocolate lab, yeah. Duke the puppy DC is what we used to call him. He had an Instagram handle at one point though.
Not anymore.
No, it kind of fell off.
Too busy. Okay.
Too busy.
It's
We got
fine.
too busy.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay. I'm sure he's living a great life. So
he's living a good life. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. A smoothie was spilled on the floor today, so he got to eat half of it.
Perfect. Look at that.
very
This
happy.
whole week is made.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And now, what do you think differentiates an extraordinary real estate experience from an average one, especially at the luxury level or just at any level in general?
The average, being an average realtor is going to be challenging because you're going to be running from getting something under contract to its closing, then trying to find other pipeline. And without having systems in place and not having a above average business, then things are going to be challenging from time to time. When there's a shift in the market and things slow down, then you're going to have some time periods where you're going to be, I think, a little cash strapped.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in your best interest as a realtor, as an entrepreneur, to push yourself to get to the next level. Because as it grows that much more.
Thank you. Love it. And then how do you approach understanding a client's true motivations when buying or selling a home? Is there any technique or any questionnaires that you use maybe to get to the true, I guess, reason of why they're looking in a certain neighborhood or what they're looking for?
I don't use a questionnaire. I don't have an internal questionnaire. I do not have tricks. I don't have, there's no manipulation that goes on there. I go through a process, and it really is quite fluid, and it's able to pivot based upon what the clients are thinking or doing. Let's say buyers.
Yeah.
Buyers say they want to go buy a house. Here's our certain budget. Generally speaking, the budget they're going to tell you is not going to be the exact dollar amount. They might be looking for more, but they want to see what else is out there, what they can get for a lower price point. They will kind of look at one little area, then they'll shift to another place. The thing is to be flexible, and not all buyers are the same. Some folks will make a decision very quickly. Other folks could take years. And if you're patient and you understand that your job there is to be a fiduciary and that you're going to serve them. And on top of that, if your business is such that you're not dependent upon that sale. So getting back to being a regular agent, they're going to be pushing a lot of these folks to make decisions. Seller, I need you to sell this house. You're my only listing. I need this commission. Mr. Buyer, you need to buy this house. If you're putting a lot of pressure on folks because you need the commission, because you don't have a lot of business going on, then you're going to be putting the wrong energy into them. Yep. You're probably going to get some of them that are going to fire you and are going to move along, or they need an agent that's not part of the equation. So if you're working with a buyer and they're ready to buy right now, great. This is what we need to do. If there's another buyer says they want to buy, but you've been working with them for 2-3 more years, you're not going to be putting the pressure on them that you might be doing subconsciously, because you're being patient, because you know at some point they're going to purchase. So it's just kind of a process you go through. With buyers, I would say another key thing is to actively listen. And that is to listen when you're going through houses and they'll start saying certain things. And then you pick up on that. And when they might bring up another house, let's go look at this house. Oh, but do you remember the house we saw about a month ago in so-and-so neighborhood? This one looks like it's going to be the same type of situation. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Thanks. We need to go look at that. Yeah. So these are the types of things you do.
I love that. No, I don't know why I asked as a questionnaire, because that sounds so robotic. But thank you for clarifying that. But you're like, I don't have a questionnaire in my head.
Well, there are questionnaires for rookie agents that they give. You go to these coaching programs, you go join some brokerages, and they're like, ask these questions.
These tips will get you the best.
Yes, but if it sounds fixed, if it sounds like you're just going through these questions, you're not going to have I don't think a very good rapport with your clientele.
No, absolutely not. No, you're right. So thank you for sharing for that. Yes. And now you kind of shared that it's kind of just talking to them, building that relationship,
right.
Being an active listener, not cutting them off, not thinking about like, oh, I got to make the sale. You're like, no, put that aside, putting that ego to the side like we talked about, and just listening to their needs. It's really simple.
It is.
You would think.
There's another thing that I bring to it. So if you're looking to build rapport and you're looking to build a relationship with a client, you're building this relationship with this client for them potentially to give you referrals in the future, for them to speak well of you, which is a major currency in being in this type of industry, right? If you're doing that and you're approaching your clientele that way, it's going to grow. It's going to build more things. Mm-hmm. So just approaching things from wanting to be in relationship with the clientele is one way to look at it.
Absolutely. I love that. Reputation, or just people being, you were pleasant. They were like, that
Right.
guy was awesome. He was nice. He listened to me and he's smart. Like, let's go. Love it. And you often emphasize art, craftsmanship, and design. How does your appreciation for aesthetics play into the real estate work?
So when I first got into the industry, I was quite in love with like design and all these elements. Now, as a realtor, the more you get into it, you're not necessarily designing the houses, but that's where that's coming from.
Yes.
So when I came into real estate, wanting to get into residential real estate, so I was at that crossroads where I was talking to these commercial real estate brokers and had a friend of the family who was a developer. And the developer's like, give me your resume. I'm going to give it to this guy who's selling these condo developments. That's kind of how I entered the residential side.
What we had talked about earlier, yeah.
When I was talking to the commercial brokers, because having a background of business-to-business sales, I thought it might be a better fit for commercial brokerage, doing leasing. I wasn't finding that very appealing because we're talking about square footage and you're talking about like what's the size of a cubicle, and you're going to be talking to the office managers. And I'd already done plenty of years of working with office managers to get them to lease copiers. And I was like, okay, there's that. Residential, there's an emotional component to residential that you just don't see in the commercial side. Folks are going to live there. They fall in love with it. The architecture, I feel that it's more appealing. It just is more exciting, right?
Yep.
So I feel that's kind of how that happened. And that's part of the reason why I'm in residential real estate is just I found it more appealing.
Okay, beautiful. Is there anything that I have not touched on that perhaps you want to get out there to your audience, or you just want industry people to know about you? Anything at all? You have the floor.
I have the floor. Oh, that's like an open-ended question.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to talk for like 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
Well, I have these things I need to talk about.
Sorry.
You threw me a fastball there. Yes, you did.
On the spot.
Yeah, whiff. I did not hit that one. No, I did not hit that one out
I'm
of the
good
park.
at that.
I'd say if you're getting into real estate, you need to be patient. You need to give it time. You need to put in a really good foundation and realize that putting in a good foundation isn't necessarily going to show you rewards today, but it's going to show you rewards 5-10 years down the road. For example, I have a client I'm working with right now that I've been following up with for 11 years. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes, and you just have to give it time for things to grow.
Being patient with that.
Yes, absolutely. If someone's looking to get into luxury real estate, I'd say you just got to keep plugging away and you got to put yourself in the right spot. So, go to those broker opens, learn that market, and just kind of get yourself there is one way to do it.
Absolutely.
I think, and who else was going to watch this? It's primarily going to be other realtors.
Other realtors, entrepreneurs, potential clients. I know some people are just like, ooh, what realtors are there? I'm looking for a home. They're like curious. And even just your audience, they might want to see that.
Absolutely.
So,
definitely.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you some rapid fire questions just as we're getting to the end of this.
Right,
so hopefully you are open to that.
Okay.
What's one word your clients would use to describe working with you?
I hear calm all the time. Calm.
I like that.
And I think it's important because oftentimes my clients are going to be going through a situation where they're having trouble being calm. And these are folks who are often professionally doing a lot of very big things, but when it comes to their own buying and selling a house, it's hard to be calm. So I add that element, and I think it's helpful. It's helpful for the transactions. It's helpful for the client.
Yes.
Helps them sleep at night, things like that.
Absolutely. You don't want to have someone who's like panicking. Oh my God, me too, I'm panicking. This is a terrible mix.
That doesn't help.
We both don't sleep. And if you could list any iconic property in DC, past or present, which one would it be?
Iconic building, past or present in DC. There's so many great buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are still here. Iconic building in Washington, D.C. Well, we would talk about the D.C. monuments and all that, but those aren't residential.
No.
And there's some great properties in Georgetown, but now their names are coming to the top of my head right now.
There's that house that has the Exorcist stairs. Is that iconic?
Yeah.
You're like,
yes.
No, ma'am.
No, I would not name the Exorcist stairs.
No.
I would say just in D.C., if we're talking about iconic, then we're talking about a historic house in Alexandria or Georgetown. And it's kind of, 1820s row home, red brick, maybe painted white with iron railings. I think that's just, those are the iconic buildings. I think of our era, or
Beautiful.
our area. That is, yep.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned in real estate that school never taught you?
That is a good one. Well, I didn't learn finance and managing your books in college. So I think that is a crucial thing to do and to learn as a realtor, because as any entrepreneur, you need to balance your books. And if you can't balance your books, at the end of the day, all the other stuff is for nothing.
Yep.
So that was not something we were taught in school. Yes.
Dropped a bomb there. I'm just kidding. Your go-to strategy for recharging after a long week of negotiations and showings?
They would be decompressing. Sometimes what you need to do is block off a little time period to not do something is helpful. Other things are going for a 3 or 4 or 5 mile run at kind of like 5 a.m. and getting that out of the day. Going to the gym and working out and getting a steam, that helps.
Ooh.
All these things help. Doing a podcast on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, a random Wednesday morning.
This is always fun. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
I'm glad. Okay, last one. If you weren't in real estate, what dream career would you be pursuing right now? Or maybe this is already it.
If I were having a dream career, it would be real estate related. It just probably would be on a different scale than I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Beautiful.
Right.
Love it. So you kind of are already where you wanted to be.
Yes.
Still in real estate. Okay.
Yes.
And now, this is my final question. I promise. I swear I could keep you here all day, but I know you're busy. If you could leave us with an inspiring quote or maybe a mantra or something you like to live your life by, or maybe somebody told you something that resonated with you, what would that message or quote be?
Well, I'm on this like it's not a podcast. I guess it's a podcast. I speak on a podcast about once a week.
Is it your own? Yeah.
It's not my own. It's like this group. It's a 5 a.m. call we do. It's called the Catalyst Call.
Cool.
So I'm often coming up with stuff like this for my calls. And I was thinking recently, because I'm getting ready to do one again tomorrow, and I was thinking about just kind of mantras that we should, as real estate professionals, we should live. And I was thinking about how it's important for us to be polite, professional, positive, to do that. And also at the same time, these are the things that I live by, is I don't speak about religion and I don't speak about politics with my clientele. And if you look anywhere on my social media, you don't see any whiff of that. Because ultimately what I see it as realtors is we're here to serve clientels or serve clients. And they're coming to us at a moment where they're looking to buy or sell a house. And they don't necessarily need my other distractions, what else is going on in my life, what I'm thinking, my other energies. I'm here to serve, just like an attorney or a doctor. And my job is here. So if you're a doctor and you're going in for ankle surgery, you don't need your doctor being very upset about something or trying to convince you of something.
No.
That has nothing to do with your ankle.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
So my job is to serve my clientele, to make sure that they're able to successfully buy or sell that house, and they've been able to achieve their goal. Now, there's going to be circumstances out there where it's a tough market. Maybe they've brought on a house where the market's shifted and that housing type is not popular anymore, or the way in which they redesigned the house 10 years ago is not considered popular and they're having tough time selling the house, and they're in a financial bind. Or let's say they're looking to buy a house and let's say they're a federal employee and now things are a little tricky for them as far as getting their financing. So they don't need any other energies from me.
And all the noise that's already
when
going
they're
on
going
everywhere.
through that, what they need is positive. They need me to be polite, and they need to help me guide them through that process and be calm, because we need to make sure that this is as stressless as possible. To be honest with you, real estate sales, buying a house and selling a house is very stressful for folks. So what they need is for folks to kind of de-stress it for them.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. That is key advice. Great, to me, wisdom. And sometimes I think we do get lost in all of that noise and we get caught up in that. But remember that you're here to serve people and provide an excellent experience for them.
Right. Exactly.
So I think
Yes.
that's great. And thank you for touching on that. And thank you for coming on here today at the Online
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Anytime.
Pleasure.
Yeah.